I've always said to a lot of people is all you could do is 3 dry breaks and then you could lose 7-0. You know, it's very easily done. I've seen it before, and you know, with black ball rules, it can very easily happen. So.
And I know you're not one to look at the draw in advance. It has come out. At least you know when you're playing now.
Yeah.
We've got a Friday afternoon slot. But I suppose really, based on the evidence this season, it doesn't really matter who you play. Throw back to last time at the British event, you played the world champions from the past 4 years over the weekend. So you've proved you can mix it with the best.
Yeah, I just didn't take one match at a time. You know, every match, as when I got the interview on BBC, is every match is pretty much like a final, and you've got to kind of take it like that. And you know, every match is tough, so you just turn up and play. But you just got to believe that, you know, if the chances come your way, that you can take them. You know, they don't always come your way, and you know, you just hope they do. And then if you do, then you just try and take them.
This is your first season, obviously, on the Pro Tour. It's worth re-emphasising that. So I know when I spoke to you earlier in the year, your objective was just to try and win one match. You know, every time you go away, win one and work from there. But that's snowballed really. You've had a couple of runs to the last 8 in competitions, I think. So you must take some confidence from that.
Yeah, very much so. I didn't want to get ahead of myself at the start of the season. You know, it's you know, the expectation could have been that I've got a lot to prove. You know, there's a difference between qualifying to turn pro and then actually proving that you deserve to be there. So obviously that was something that I'd like to tick off. But yeah, first target was to win a match, and preferably the first tour weekend, which I managed to do. And then I was close to nearly winning the second. So I was quite content with my first tour event. And as you say, it's pretty much snowballed. Pretty much thereafter, apart from one event, Tour 4, when I only won one match that weekend out of 3 tournaments. But other than that, I've been really pleased with the results I've had, and some good wins against good players. You know, I've had them in some good wins in the past, but I've just never quite worked on the IPA Tour. So it's nice for it to happen this year, all years as well. So yeah, really pleasing.
The first of those kind of big scalps, I suppose, was Gareth Hibbert, the 2016 world champion in the Champions Cup. Well, arguably that was one of the bigger wins, and that got you to the latter stages. You were playing live on TV, looked to be in really good nick. I don't mind saying, I think you won 6-4 and missed one pot in 10 frames. So it's there. You know, you've proven that the extra gear's there.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, I got to the last 16 of the tour event a couple of weeks previous, and it was just like snowballing again. But I really feel that's what has helped me with my confidence, was that week in Chester, week 9 in Chester in the Champions Cup, was, I think, what's really helped my confidence a lot. And I just loved the experience, and it was quite weird because it wasn't just the fact that I won the first match, then I won the second match against Gareth. It was also the fact that I got to have another go, as weird as that sounds, but it was really good. I just loved every minute of playing on TV.
Fast forward then to event 7 at the British Pro Championships. Another big scalp, another world champion, but extra special with it being the current world champion, Ben Davies, who won it this year. He doesn't lose very many.
Yeah, he's a very good player, Ben. Obviously, world champion, but it just goes to show in pool. You know, your biggest belief I have when I go away is that you don't need to be the best player to go and win. You know, they're the best players in the world for a reason. You know, they win tournaments on a regular basis, and you know, they deserve that. But you know, if they don't get the run, or the breaks don't quite work, and they work for me, you know, and chances fall my way, you know, things can happen, and you know, you just need to clear the balls, you know, and it can sometimes, the frames can just suddenly rack up. But yeah, very, very pleasing obviously to win against him this year of all years. You know, it's obviously extra pleasing.
So in terms of the rankings, currently stood at 47 in the world, but the way that it works, you're well aware, it's calculated on on a 2-year basis. You've obviously only had 1 year on the tour, so hopefully every event next season will boost you up a bit further too.
Yes, very much so. I mean, at least for the second season, I'll be getting maximum points. So every event. So hopefully I'll be able to jump up a little. You know, as obviously with my results this year, you know, getting quite a few four last eights. So that's going to help. Champions Cup not being a ranking tournament, but getting I think it's 3 last eights and last 16, and you know, even the odd win here or there as well. That's just going to put me in good stead for next season, and hopefully I can just build on it. But if I don't, then you know, I'm really pleased with how I've got on this year. It's been amazing.
We mentioned as well some of the TV coverage. You were live on Free Sports TV. Lots of the events are getting some good streaming online as well. Some of the latter events I think were on BBC Sport on the web app. So, and that applies again this weekend. There's going to be some coverage on Free Sports too.
Yes, very much so. It's been great having the BBC involved. It's the Saturday and the Sunday of the tour events, but Free Sports have been absolutely brilliant as regards to like the Premier League, the Champions Cup, but now the Masters. You know, they're offering 22 hours of coverage this weekend. You know, 4 hours on Friday, 7 p.m. till 11 p.m. and so get your series link on because there's 18 hours still left on the Saturday and the Sunday. Both days starting at 10 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, get tuned in and get your series link on.
Do you set yourself any targets now for tournaments? Because as we sort of said at the beginning, it was a case of win a match and see where you go. That seems to be happening most times out now, with one exception perhaps, I suppose, over the season. So have you changed that at all? Do you feel as though, I'm not saying you expect yourself to win some more, but perhaps have higher hopes?
Still take one match at a time. You know, I mean, you know, any of us in them kind of tournaments could, you know, get beat first round, you know, and all having a nice run that we're pleased with. So I just still take one match at a time. You know, reverting back to the Masters. Hopefully I can get on there at some stage. But if not, there's plenty of pool to watch. But if not, I can be foaled on Q Score. But no, I just take one match at a time. To be honest, you know, they're all tough matches, and you know, until you pot the black to win, then you can't take anything for granted. So
quite right. And after this event, then the next you've got a little break, I suppose. But then looking forward to the World Championships in February. But your debut, I suppose you didn't play in it last season, so that's something to build towards too.
Yes, very much so. That's something I've not played in before, so this is going to be my first time now. I need to play in it this year. It's a ranking event and it's double points as well, so it's important that I'm there. And it's also going to be on Free Sports as well, so that's something to look forward to in February. And
a different format again from what you're used to.
Yeah, very much so. The sets format, so I've not played that before, so I'm going to have to get practicing. Each set being best of 7, and it's best of 5 sets, and that's all the way up until the semi-final, and then it goes up to 7 sets per match there onwards.
We must mention some of the support you've had both on and off island, both from people following you obviously on social media, following you literally to the tournaments, and also people following you in terms of giving some financial help to make this possible too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Gary Christian from Builders Merchants, Mark Quirk, and also Ian and Angela Keynes from the HQ Bar, who have sponsored me this season. It's a great support and massive support, and I really couldn't ask for better. The local support has been amazing. You know, sometimes after I've had a good weekend, you know, the messages and the notifications, you know, my phone's going mad. So it's I may not always comment or get to comment on all the comments or anything, but I do read and cherish every single one of them. You know, it really does mean a lot. And as I said before, on Free Sports, it's not just about me, it's about trying to fly the flag as well, you know, get the Isle of Man on the pool map, I hope. I'll try anyway.
Is there a disadvantage, do you feel, to being from the island when it comes to competing at high level sport?
I think it'd be nice to be playing the top players on a more regular basis. I mean, that certainly wouldn't do me any harm, so that's probably a little disadvantage. But you know, the support I've got, you know, through both jobs that I do, you know, I've got two great bosses that have helped, and you know that's massive. There's basically the difference between being able to do this and not do it. So they're massive as regards to that.
And mustn't leave her out either. Your girlfriend's been very supportive too. Pretty handy pool player herself. When you went away to the IBA, probably worth talking about that too. You guys did the double.
Yeah, that was really exciting. That I don't think I've ever been so emotional at pool, to be quite honest. I was just playing the end of my semi-final match, and I got through, and then went and watched the end of the women's final that she was in, and she's been waiting 10 years to win that. So I was like, I was just hoping, and then when she finally done it, I got a bit emotional, little tear, and give her a hug, and then I was like, oh right, I better get myself ready for my final now. It was hard to dust myself down really and get started, but thankfully I managed to get a bit of a break and then straight back on and get myself ready.
So the men's individuals was David Addinall, the women's individuals your better half, and then the men's team event was the Isle of Man 2. Not a bad clean sweep, I'd say. Well, in terms of domestic competition as well, you've still been holding up a reasonable standard here. Refer to the Alan Henry Masters recently, where you looked in pretty good nick too. Yeah,
I'd played quite well on that. You know, I had a bit of a run throughout the day. But I managed to take my chance as well when pretty much thereafter really. I think that the final was the toughest, definitely. You know, I was struggling to get myself ahead. I just couldn't get ahead, and then finally I got ahead at 4-3, and I think that's what made the difference in the final.
Just finally, one last question from me. I noticed a comment on social media. An amateur player, Daniel Fairway, who you know quite well. He described you as the friendliest player on the IPA, and said that your success is very well deserved. So that's a really nice reflection, and hopefully it means you've made a good impact on people overseas too.
Oh, it's always nice to hear comments like that. You know, it's very nice, but it's nice for other people to do the talking. You know what I mean? I never like to do that myself, but no, it's lovely to hear comments like that. And yeah, Daniel's a lovely lad. You know, he's got chatting to him at one tour event, and just every time we're there, we're always having a great natter. He's a lovely fella. So